knows the spice controls the universe.
Yeah, it's rich in bubbly goodness.
Do you remember when you lost your passion for this work?
I invited another friend. I hope that's okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And welcome to another episode of the After School Specials, where for guests who can't make it during the lunchtime show, you know what? We hang out with them after school. After school meaning recording with them in the afternoon. So, folks, we're so glad that you are here and watching this. And let me, without any further ado, let me bring up my co-host, Fat Steven Seagal, with his Fandom trading card. Congrats on getting that.
Yeah, I was surprised by the vote. I slaughtered it. I didn't expect that. So either people were really drunk that night or they really actually liked me. So I don't know which one to go with. The drunk part or like replaying the mask going, you love me. You really, really love me. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I like the card. The animation over top, it was actually drawn by Gary from Pop Culture Minefield, and he's definitely talented. But yeah, thank you. It's a lovely Saturday morning. Somewhere. Here it is. How are you?
We're good. But before I forget, I wanted to shout out the Fandom Collective, who has been doing these cards. Like I had a card the first run, which was absolutely gorgeous. The Fandom Collective does so much for independent creators. It's like, every time I go live, they're like also blasting it out there. Also, when there's smaller creators that are kind of new, they highlight them as well. So they do an amazing service for the fandom. So I just wanted to shout them out.
I would also like to give another shout out because it will be past this point, but I believe today is also Runner Studios' birthday. So happy birthday from the past into the future.
Birthday, yes.
Yeah. So he's finally a man now, only on paper.
Well, happy birthday, Runner. Cool.
Yeah.
You finally reached that big 18.
I can finally book him. Oh, God.
Oh, it's going to be a hoot.
But I hear you're doing well. Toxic Femme is blowing up. You look very happy, hyper, and pretty. And our guest doesn't know how to use a calendar, so I can't wait to bring him on and talk about how he can't use a calendar. 1,800 cameras, but can't use a calendar.
There's always got to be something.
I don't let anything go. Like a cheesecake, I never let it go.
That's so sad. No problem.
Oh,
well,
Cisco.
Folks, we have our guest today. I'm very excited that he's going to be on. It's because of him, I'm going to have a come to Jesus moment for the post office. Welcome, Valliant Renegade. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. It's good to see you guys, and thanks for having me on. It's very kind of you.
All right, that's it for the interview.
Problem.
Thank you for coming by. We're
Yes,
done
good
now.
to see you guys. Take care,
Renegade.
Take care, Lorena. I'll catch you guys
minute.
next week. Take care.
Yeah, okay, good. We're now going to interview his chair.
Oh God, no, dude. Glad you're on. I mean, you've been such an amazing supporter in the streams, especially in Toxic Femme. So glad we could get you on the show.
I'm kidding. But I actually ran into you on through Acro Base, and the way you started talking, I really liked how everything's very clear. You're very adamant about your opinions, but you're also very accepting when other people talk at the same time, and you like to joke around. I really wanted to reach out to you because I'm pathetic, and I need people to acknowledge my existence. So.
And I have acknowledged you, Steven, so no worries. You
Yeah,
exist, and we're glad you're here.
I'm a 2D avatar. I exist on paper.
Well, I'm glad
Well,
he,
I
he
always
snagged you.
wondered if there's a real face behind all of the comic avatars that you throw up on YouTube, but I guess we'll never find out. But you know what? That's the mystery of you, and that's what makes it fun.
How about this? 1K. If I get to 1K subs, I will do a face reveal.
Okay, you heard it here.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
There you
It's gonna
go.
be my face though.
And just for me being selfish, I hope you
heard
reach.
that. I
What did
heard
he
that.
say?
He put a
I didn't say
caveat
anything.
on there.
I didn't put any caveat. I can't even spell caveat.
I believe he said it'll be a face reveal, just not my face.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my fat avatar mouth.
Yeah.
Sneaky,
No.
sneaky.
I'm sorry. This is getting really crazy and hyper. This is good. Like, make it laugh.
Sneaky. But dude, I'm so glad you're on the show. I'm envious of your camera. So thank you very much for telling me what it is, so I can put it on my wish list to start, getting change out of seats in my car.
There you go.
to save up for it. Oh, but yeah, I loved it how on Twitter it seems like with Toxic Fam every night it's like you post a screenshot of like your big huge TV with all our faces up
Right
there.
there.
And it's still, dude, it's still weird for me to look at my own face.
You know what they say about a man with a big TV, right?
I'm waiting.
No, there's nothing else. I just want to know if you guys knew what they say. I don't know the joke.
I didn't even know there was a saying.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. I was just waiting for him to finish. I'm like, well,
yeah,
he's blushing. That's what I want to do. He's like, his face is going red. He's like, he's gonna say something.
I'm like, what's he gonna say? What's
Go
he gonna
for it.
say about that? But dude, love your hat.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Love your hat. You're fan of Sig?
Yes. Yeah. It's you're the second person actually on YouTube that we immediately recognized that. The first was Coach. He told me the same thing the first time I was on the Echo Bay stream. He's like, man, I love that hat. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I did not buy a Sig. But I did test fire a couple when I was shopping, when I first started shopping for firearms, maybe about it was longer than that. I think it was like 8 years ago when I first started shopping, because
Would you
they were like, which I wound up going with the Springfield XDM. So I have two, because for me, it was more important that the firearm felt like an extension of my own hand. It had to feel comfortable for me. When I picked it up, it wouldn't feel like, alien. It's not like, I was a police officer or someone who, like a contractor who had to be familiar with lots of different firearms. I'm like, I just need one where as soon as I touch it, automatically I know kind of how it's going on. So yeah, the Springfield I love. So I have that in a 40 cal and a 9mm, and I got one with like a fancy chrome barrel on it. Funny story. So I'm trying like the Springfield, I'm trying out. This is the first one I bought. And they said, well, you like the Springfield? And I said, yes. Gun store owner's like, I'll be right back. He goes in the back, comes back with this case, opens it up, and it's the one with like the black handle and stainless steel.
Ooh.
Top. I'm like, I heard angels. So yeah, I bought that. I mean, I had to wait like 4 days for the background check. And I'm just like, what my freaking gun?
Wow, it took that long?
Well, this was back when it was a serious backlog, where there was a run on them for what was going on. So a lot of people were trying to buy them within a short period of time. So the system was backed up for the background checks and all that. I'm like, dude, I have a government security clearance and it's still going to take this long.
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of places, if you have a concealed carry license, as long as you have that, they waive the background check.
Yeah. And I didn't at the time. So I have one that I actually just renewed last year. So I had one now, but then I didn't have one because that was like when I first started going out, to get a firearm, and I just happened to go during one of the craziest seasons. But yeah, I test fired a Sig. It was good. It was okay. Tried a Beretta. I thought I was gonna like a Beretta because that was the name I'd heard about. Tried a Beretta. It was all right. Glock, the handle was too short. It just didn't fit too.
Depending on the model, there's no right or wrong. It's like it's exactly what you said. It's how does it feel to you, and you have to be comfortable using it, holding it, firing it. That's the most important thing. And I'm,
why do I feel dirty when you're saying this? I feel really dirty all of a sudden.
Yes.
I feel like I just stepped in the cesspool of perversion. What is it?
So later, Steven's going to clip that out of context. And
I
make a
will.
short
I
video.
so I will.
Exactly.
I will.
Yeah.
It'll be like a voice dub for the Geode picture, you know.
That will be a great promo for the channel. Listen to Valiant Renegade talk dirty.
Yeah. Valliant Renegade gets down and dirty.
Right.
So here's our baseline question that we asked everyone to start out with. So, what are your memories of lunchtime at school?
Oh man. I was one of those kids that tended to bring his own lunch more than anything. Didn't really. I mean, a few times I ate in the cafeteria, but I used to bring my own lunch as opposed to buying school lunch. I don't know if I have anything specific, but I mean, my fondest memories always of lunchtime was lunchtime itself. Just being out, you get to socialize, hang out with friends, get out of class for a little bit. If we had about an hour for lunch, at least where I went to high school. And I mean, everybody was just in this. We had a giant yard, kind of a courtyard where the school was like a U-shaped building. I had a giant courtyard back there, and lunchtime you were playing football, playing dodgeball, something. You're just goofing off in the yard and praying not to have to go back to class, but you knew you would have to. So depending on which classes you had after lunch, because we had a rotating schedule. So every day, if English was first period, the next day that was second period, so on and so forth, all the way 7 periods in every day. One class every day would rotate out.
Right.
So it was kind of always lunchtime was you were hoping it's like, wait, which day is it on the cycle? Because I might not have that. I might have a free period after lunch and get 2 hours right now. So, but yeah, that's what I always remembered about it.
Oh, cool. Cool. So the follow-up question, Steven, you want to ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, it's kind of a follow-up. It should be this. I wanted to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, "Who is your daddy and what does he do?" But I'm gonna start with when you had a pizza day. Was it the triangle slices, the square slices, or the oversized raviolis they called panzerottis?
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so when they made the pizza at school, it was the square pizza. It was just like you had. I saw y'all on the show the other day.
I'm losing this battle here.
Y'all had the pan, with it's just like it's like a half sheet or full sheet baking pan. They just bake the pizza right in it. They pretty much buy it pre-made from like Cisco or somebody like that. And and you cut it and you get a big square piece on your plate. Now there were days where, not in high school though, I think it was probably elementary school, it was smaller classes, smaller school, where they order Domino's or something like that to bring pizza in. So on those, I think they might have done that once a month. One Friday every month, they would actually order pizza in, and you would sign up for it. And it's like, okay, if you wanted 2 slices, you'd pay a couple dollars, whatever it was. So that's the only time we actually had like pizza. Rest of the time, it was the square stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it was like it's funny how prevalent that square cafeteria pizza has been.
It's just cheap and easy to make.
Exactly. They can just knock it out and give you a whole bunch of slices for everybody. And man, at school, I just thought that was awesome until we got pizza from the real pizza joint.
I have a third question now. Did you guys ever get the bagel pizzas where they would make the bagels cut in half and then they would put like the tomato sauce and the pepperoni and cheese over? You remember those?
We did have bagel pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember those mostly from Cubs and Scouts.
I don't remember having them at school though. I mean, I remember like buying them at the grocery store, but I don't think we ever had them at school.
We did, because I know where we lived. Because I lived like in suburban Philly. It's like bagels were just like prevalent for like breakfast. Anywhere you go, bagel store, bakery, whatever, deli, bagels. So yeah, we have bagel pizza every once in a while. Without, of course, it did not have the bagel hole in it, because that would kind of defeat the purpose. But yeah, we'd have.
I do have a serious kind of question here, but Valiant, you came to YouTube for a specific reason, right? What was the driving force that made you say, I would like to get my voice out there, and why you think it mattered to you to start your channel?
Well, I don't know if there was any one specific moment, but I do remember. To be one. Yeah, no, that's what I said. I'm trying to remember. It's a good way to pose that question because it's making me think about it. But I had really never watched or been around on YouTube that much until maybe the midpoint of last year, maybe a little bit, maybe almost a year ago.
Mhm.
And I was just on under, personal account, and I started discovering shows. I think the first one that I probably found, just because of my Star Wars interest, was before that. It was Doomcock.
Mhm.
And then that, as I got more into YouTube, that kind of led me into other channels. I found Midnight's Edge. I found Echo Base, Geeks and Gamers, number of others. I mean, Nerdrotic too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've all been pretty influential. And watching them, I said, okay, these guys are having fun. I was getting tired of watching our favorite pop culture icons and
One
stories.
second. I don't want to catch up with you. Can you repeat that sentence again? They were having what?
They were having fun.
Thank you. There it is. That's the key word right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. These guys were having fun. And I said, they're out there. I see what they're doing. And because initially I think, YouTube is the people streaming on YouTube. They're all like, 15 and 20-year-olds playing video games, right? Well, apparently not, and I just didn't know any better. And over the course of that year, I found more channels I liked. And there was one moment where I think I actually super chatted Gary at Nerdrotic. And I said, look, I'm thinking about doing this and thinking about jumping in. I said, because to myself, I have all this camera equipment. I have sound recording equipment. I mean, I do a lot of that kind of stuff on the side.
Yeah.
My wife runs a music school. So, I mean, we have all this stuff everywhere. And I said, this would be really easy. And he said, you know what? He looked right at the camera and he goes, do it. Do it. But if you get in, don't get in for the money, get in to have fun and just enjoy yourself. And that was it for me. And I was kind of like, yeah, okay. And I never jumped in to have, or to make money or anything like that. I've got a 9-year-old, my son, that will swear to you right now he knows 3 kids playing Roblox on YouTube all day, making $2 million a year, right? So I get this all the time. I got 3 kids. My older 2 don't say so much, but he does because he's playing video games all day long. And so I got in to have fun. I got in to kind of join the fight, and I'm tired of watching things like Star Wars and Star Trek and all these great intellectual properties just get laid to waste by injecting modern politics into it. It's like entertainment is supposed to be escapism. It's supposed to be a medium by which we can detach ourselves from the BS of the day. And let me go. It's like I tell people all the time, the only politics that needs to be in Star Wars is the rebellion versus the empire. That's it. If you're injecting 2021 politics into it, you are just denigrating the timelessness that Lucas created with the whole theme of those movies. I mean, it would be like, it'd be tantamount to saying, okay, let's make a new Star Wars movie, like a grand canon epic of Star Wars, and then fill it full of modern pop music and Metallica songs, which, okay, there's nothing wrong with those things, but it don't work in a Star Wars movie. It takes the timeless aspect out. It dates it. And that's what we're doing now with this crap. What's that?
Yeah.
It needs polka. Star Wars works better with polka music.
Yeah, I think if we put in some 3-step polka in there, that'd be good.
Can you imagine if the whole rebellion was dressed like Oktoberfest? It'd be great.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be interesting with beer steins.
I mean, look, Kathy Kennedy's doing all this other stuff. Why not that? Maybe she'll pull that one out of the hat at some point.
But you're right. It's like our pop culture used to be just about escapism, and it didn't matter where you were on the political spectrum. We all like Star Wars. So at least the people who did like Star Wars, it's just like, you know what, you enjoy that. Yeah, enjoy that too. Yeah, you're different from me, but we like the same thing. That's pretty cool. And that's how it would be. And again, the only politics we wanted to see is what was going on with the Empire and, finding out, okay, this Palpatine, he's a lot freaking shadier than we thought. And that's what we wanted to see. We don't need to be preached to about woke politics or what side you need to be on, the right side of history. We don't, that's not what we watch this stuff for. But apparently they want to hijack it to tell us that we're bad people if we don't follow or, buy into this. And you're right, that stuff stopped being fun. And I think one of the things that YouTube plugged into was finding that place where people could talk about, yeah, remember when this was fun? Yeah, this was fun. And you get that fun conversation, because I wasn't like in YouTube at the time, but I was just like a casual viewer. So I'd see things like the beauty blogging space. That's another weird space right there. But yeah, kids making a crazy amount of money just like reviewing toys. I saw one lady who all she did, she lives in Jamaica actually. All she does is videos cooking in her darn kitchen. And I think she has like 250,000 subs now or whatever. And that's just like all she does. So it's like, okay, if these people are doing this type of thing and they're getting crazy, you know, amounts of viewers, it's cool that just there's a space in YouTube where we get to talk about, you know, pop culture and the stuff that we like, and talk about the stuff that we don't like what's happening to it.
Can I ask a question related to this though? Do you think that with escapism, it produces and grows imagination in people? And with that imagination, it gives them the ability and the drive to create more stories and their own fantasies to share with other people. And that's how, like, let's say, authors, directors, and video game designers, and all that stuff is actually born. And when you take away that aspect of planting those seeds when it comes to things like Star Wars or Star Trek or comic books, do you think it's killing imagination when they try to tell you you're more of a bad person than a person that could have hope?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole point, I think you just nailed it. I mean, the whole point of this, like you said, is the escapism. And when we remove that escapism from science fiction, fantasy, just entertainment in general, look at sports, for God's sakes.
Oh,
I mean, I mean, that went down the toilet. Let me tell you what, I was a huge NFL fan. I didn't watch a single damn game last year. I got tired of it. I just got tired of it, and even my own team. And look, I as far as killing that magic in people's minds and that inspiration by eliminating the escapism, yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening. If you're teaching the folks, the guys and girls coming up now, who are going to be the, you know, Imagineers or the creators of the future, and all they're learning right now is everything that I have to build has to have some element of current events and politics in it. No. I mean, that's literally what they're building movies around these days. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean,
look at Falcon Winter Soldier. Look at Falcon Winter Soldier. Exactly. It's like people are trying to watch shows because they're getting tired of what's happened over the last 12 months, but they keep throwing it back in your face like you need to see this. No, we see this when we look out the window. Give us a Jedi doing a river dance while fighting Darth Vader. We want to see something that's stupid because we're tired of looking out the window and realizing we're in a concrete wall prison because of things that are going down. And it's heartbreaking that they don't see this anymore. They just see the dollar signs. You want dollar signs? Escapism is your dollar signs, not reality.
Well, then again, it goes down to the point where they're not looking at the dollar signs. They're looking at the message that they want to hit us over the head with. Case in point. Exactly. Case in point with theme parks. Like I said, Disney of now is not, and you're a Disney stockholder, I believe. Or are you the other? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think you talked about it.
I have also a lot of clients that hold Disney. So yeah.
And it's like Disney now is not the Disney that it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Like there are these rides at Disney that we love because they're kind of like time in a bottle, so to speak. And we kind of laugh at the things that are outdated about it. But now they figure, oh, they're problematic and we have to, you know, retheme them, reculture, you know, change them, repurpose them. Like Splash Mountain, they want to use the IP of The Princess and the Frog and rather just say, you know, okay, it's kind of outdated right now. Maybe we need to update it a little bit and just go ahead and do it. That would be fine. But no, they want a virtue signal about it and say, well, it's based on racist attitude. No, it's actually based on, you know, Black folktales, but they don't want to tell you that. And the same thing with now what they're doing with the Jungle Cruise ride. That's deemed culturally insensitive. So now they want to, and they've already started taking what people love about that ride and taking out the I would say like the skipper that they have, who's a cast member, who basically drives it because it's all based on improv. And the jokes, which are cheesy jokes, we expect cheesy jokes, the cheesier the better. it's never the same ride twice. And that's what makes that ride so amazing. And now they just want to homogenize it with woke politics and their equivalent in Imagineering of the Lucasfilm Story Group. It's pretty much what they want to do. And it's like in everything from sports to film to even freaking theme parks. It's just like it's ridiculous.
I've since late last year, I pretty much I've turned off the news. I haven't watched it anymore. I've gotten off Facebook. I don't care. And it's like I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to talk about Star Wars and stuff on YouTube, and that's going to be my thing now. And, you know, just to come in and do that, and started about 2 months ago when it's like, you know, this is much more fun. This is much more fun than turning on and seeing. It's like, what's new? What are we offended by today, America? I mean, it's just become so insane. And every time you turn around, there's something else that people feel like they have to change. And yes, to an extent, I think you're right. As far as they're going to beat you over the head with woke messaging versus making money, I think it's a little deeper than that, though. At some point, these guys and girls have to make money. I mean, you have to actually turn a profit. And I think it goes a little bit deeper in the sense that they're so insular in Hollywood and in that part of the world. They really believe that the rest of the country, the majority of it, thinks like they do. Or if they don't, they should be made to think like they do.
Oh,
they
you
look
are
at
absolutely, not to interrupt you, but you are absolutely right. Because I lived in Hollywood for 5 years. So what you're describing is exactly what they think. They think that everyone should think like they do in their little bubble, and to hell with the rest of flyover country and, in the U.S.
That's exactly what I was going to say, was the rest of us are flyover country. And you've seen it for years coming out in like the Oscars. And I mean, it's been bubbling up more and more and more. I mean, hell, well, Fat Steven probably remember this. That episode that they did of the Oscars with the smug and George Clooney's smug, and it basically destroyed San Francisco. It blew it up, the smug.
Oh, the South Park? Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
I saw that episode.
Now, how many years ago?
Sorry.
How many years ago was that now? I was going to say that was probably 15 seasons ago.
Yeah, it was it was years ago. And we were laughing because it's just like that. We can see it happening, but maybe it might happen, maybe it might not, but we're going to laugh about it. And it's freaking true now.
Yeah, but the way South Park has now become the magic 8 ball that Simpsons once was, except they're not going down the Simpsons road, and they're able to predict things, and it's happening. I don't think they're going to get everything right, because I don't think Bono is going to ever have the giant poop battle ever.
That was awesome.
Or we're not going to get invaded by hippies.
But when they shoved the Emmy in it at the end of that episode, that was the best.
But the hippie thing, being invaded by hippies, if you actually look at it, you can relate it as social justice warriors and how they've invaded everything, and they're surrounding your house, they're surrounding you with their ideals, they're yelling at you, they're reading everywhere. It's the same thing. They're literally telling us, and they're mocking, and they're doing it in a way that's like, the reality we're living in now has become such a satire due to that 1% that we can't do anything else but point out South Park as the Webster's dictionary of sanity, and that's crazy.
But I will say I'm a little disappointed that Mecha Barbara
Streisand? Mecha Streisand. Yeah.
I'm a little upset that Mecha Streisand did not appear in Godzilla versus Kong. I'm just
I had forgotten about that. That was like the first or second episode, right? Or maybe it was one of the very first ones.
It was pretty early in the first season.
The first episode was Cartman gets an anal probe.
Yes.
And then it's like the Mecha Streisand was like episode 2 or 3. It was real early.
Yeah, they had to get I forget his name, but he was from The Cure. They had to call him to come in to fight.
They had to combine, I think. They were training monsters. Yeah. That's why I love South Park, and it's like we don't have many of those shows we can relate to. Like when C-Lab 2021 was out there, like you've seen my clips of Valliant, and you love when I throw those in.
Yeah, I love
it's like
C-Lab 2021.
That or Drawn Together, or we have when Venture Brothers, like all those things. Like even Adult Swim is now changing to a point where they're trying to be like the woke, but they're not making fun of the woke anymore. They are literally making fun of themselves by trying to be too woke.
No, they're not. It's like that meme about Adult Swim where they have Ghidra with the 3 heads.
Yeah.
And they have the two heads that look mean, and they're like Adult Swim when it started, Adult Swim in 2010, and the last one looks like a goofball and says Adult Swim now. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to watch Adult Swim all the time. My wife and I both. I mean, we've been together 22 years. And I remember watching that when we were in college together. I mean, watching Adult Swim. And that's when they had C-Lab 2021, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. They were just starting to do reruns of like Family Guy. It was before it went back on Fox. They got picked back up because Adult Swim was running it. So all those kind of things. The Brack Show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Back then, I mean, it was.
Wait. Speaking of that, the Bird Girl. Do not watch the Bird Girl episode. This new series is that Bird Girl. It's bad.
I saw. Yeah, I saw that.
The trailer was bad.
I'm not
just gender swapped Harvey Birdman. Why?
Yeah, I just said.
But if this is crazy, babe, I don't want to be sane. I'm in love with you, Wendy.
Oh, Captain!
I freaking love that.
That shit was so classic.
It was just freaking it. Oh my god,
it was fun. It was just fun.
He was my favorite. Captain Murphy was my favorite, and that's why I did. That's why when I did this guy, I had a blast with it, right? Because it's something I can escape to because they nailed everything, and it was back in the day. Like Mad TV is still good to this day and age. If you like Mad TV, or even going back to Living Color.
even that. Those were good because they took they took risks that that paid off, and they pushed the envelope. Like I know shows like the Venture Brothers. Like I like that. I'm like, crap, this is like Johnny Quest going off the rails, and I freaking love it.
Yeah, we used to love all those shows. And it's you think back, and it's you bring up Mad TV and In Living Color. They all did political humor back then. And they've done it Saturday Night Live since '75. I mean, it was back. I still remember one of my favorite skits on SNL ever was Chevy Chase playing President Ford, and Garrett Morris comes in the room and he says, "Mr. President, they would like you to turn the Christmas music up." And he walks over to the record player and he mutes it. And it's just simple. It was simple, stupid stuff like that, where it's like you kind of making fun of him because everybody, Ford's kind of a dummy. But it was fun. It was funny. Now it's just mean. They're mean and ugly, and they're lecturing and they're finger wagging, and it's just constant. I mean, I have not watched SNL. I tell people this all the time. It's like, when did SNL die for you? I said, it died when Phil Hartman was shot by his wife. That was it for me.
Yeah, I didn't watch that anymore. Because they don't take risks anymore. Like I was thinking again, talking about the skit with Gerald Ford. I'm like, if SNL had any real guts, that skit from Gerald Ford always tripping and falling, they would have used Biden and went with that, and they freaking didn't.
They could have brought Chevy Chase back in to do that and play Biden. But you're right. They wouldn't dare do it, and it's like nothing. I'm sorry, getting on national television and being woke and all this is not brave. It's not. I mean, it's like you're just going to operate in your wheelhouse. It's lecturing. That's all it is. It's lecturing now.
But Valiant, I'm going to give you two quickly. I do think you should watch. I don't know if you did. Is when Eddie Murphy came back to SNL. That one where he did all of his old characters, the Buckwheat, the Gumby, everything. That was a good episode.
I have not seen recently.
This was, I guess, a couple
years ago.
Yeah. There's also the 40th celebration where they did the Jeopardy, and they have everyone. Norm Macdonald.
I did see that clip of the Jeopardy.
And they do the Bill Cosby one. We're like, who is this? Favorite's like, nope. And they gave Bill Cosby. I remember Jeremy.
Which one? There was one where Adam Sandler came back. And Chris Rock made like a cameo. It seems to be when they bring the cast members back who back in the day it was big, then people will kind of pay a little bit of attention to SNL. That one was good. But other than that, I was just like, I haven't watched SNL in like a dog's age, literally. And if I do watch SNL, it's some clip on YouTube that somebody did of something that was worth looking at. And then I'll go back and watch it.
What killed them, I believe, in the last, let's say, 12 months was when the whole thing happened. And I don't like bringing this up again. When the Gina Carano firing happened, and SNL thought it was a brilliant idea to do that Saturday night skit playing her, and it wasn't funny. It was literally a personal attack.
I pulled that one.
I didn't even see it. I guess I'm glad I didn't.
No
it
one
was bad.
did, because when they had first they started out before they did the one impersonating, Gina Carano, they had a clip from, that faux news show that they had. And I'm like, did anybody see this? So that's why I pulled it to show on Toxic Femme. And I'm just like, yeah, they've already started with this crap.
Yeah.
And it just, but SNL had been in the toilet for years. No one, they were like, who's watching that? Nobody's freaking watching that.
Yeah, I
No
don't
one's
know
watching
anybody
it
that
at
talks
all.
about it. I don't know.
No.
I think, and again, it goes back to they're so insular. I don't know if anybody. It's like the Oscars. I mean, the Oscars, the ratings have been going into the ratings have been going into the can, excuse me, for years, for decades, probably, to the point now where I think what's their average viewership, like 1.5 million, 2 million?
Nobody watched
outside of Los Angeles and New York. That's it. That's their market.
Yeah.
Everybody in the middle of the country, nobody's tuned into this because it's like we're going to award a bunch of movies that nobody's seen, nobody has heard of, and nobody cares about.
It's kind of like with the Grammys.
Yeah, look at the regulations, though.
Which regulations?
When the Oscars put the new regulations there for how you can be nominated and what you need to have and how much you had to have in a certain way, like the diversity, you need to have this, and this.
Oh, yeah, they were already on a slide with that because they had started that a couple of years ago. And no one's really watching them because, again, they're nominating movies that people either, one, don't give a crap about, or two, have been in some theater no one cared about for like 2 weeks, and now they want to freaking nominate it. It's been on a slide like forever. Same thing with the Emmys, same thing with the Grammys, because I didn't even know the Grammys were on until I'm on Twitter and Bill Burr starts trending. So immediately I'm like, well, what's Bill Burr doing, or what the heck is going on? And then I find out it's about the Grammys. I'm like, that's pretty sad. Nobody knew the Grammys were on until they saw Bill Burr trending.
Same thing I saw this. I was like, what is Bill Burr? What is he hosting? Oh, the Grammys were on last night. The hell was okay? I mean, I didn't.
Did you see the psychopaths go after him, especially all the ones that were like the BTS fans? When the BTS fans started going after him, I'm like, you have no idea what Bill is talking about. And you can tell it was them because they had that little 7 in their name, and that was their whole cult.
They tried to come after me. I put this up on Toxic Femme, but they tried to come after me. Like, he didn't have to say that. I said, bump your feelings. You think he cares? It was funny.
Yeah.
And then they blocked me. So
it's the reverse, Lorraine. It could be like this. Oh, what? He didn't have to say that. Well, guess what? You didn't have to watch it.
But that's the thing. See, we're supposed to watch it and be indoctrinated, and we're bad people if we don't watch this and we don't,
No one will ever tell me or should tell anyone that they are a bad person. No one has that right. And if anyone ever tries to do that, you honestly need to check yourself, because you are probably that bad person you're projecting. And I'm going to stand by that.
That's it. It's projection. It's exactly. And just going back to what you said on the diversity check boxes that they're now doing for the Oscars to nominate people, that's Hollywood projecting its own racism. Its own
absolutely.
sexism, its own on everyone else. When they come out and they say that we're doing this to teach the country, no, they're doing it because they feel guilty, and they know damn well they're the ones guilty of it. And that's all that is. Yeah. Yes. I mean, people who run out and virtue signal like that, they're telling you this is me. They're telling you that this is who they are. Not everybody else. And
it's been
people who aren't that way don't have to run around apologizing for it all the time.
No,
I'm sorry.
And it's been like that, and it's been like that for years all through Hollywood. And they'll ignore, we're not racist. It's like, okay, well, if you weren't, then why is it that independent filmmakers, Black independent filmmakers, had to create their own niche industry because you weren't letting them in the mainstream? Then all of a sudden they start making money. Then, we're just gonna, we're gonna bring you guys in too. Not really, kind of just like as a figurehead or whatever. But that's about it. But that's what they've been doing for years. And to bring it up, modern, for people who haven't been paying attention for all that time, I'll use the example: Batwoman.
Oh God! Please don't.
Season 2.
No.
I'm bringing it up.
Hold on. There we go. Now I'm ready.
There we go. All right.
I have experienced that show only through Az. And I don't know how he reviews it.
I've experienced about 5 minutes of it.
I think he can do it because he's a degree removed from it. When I watch it, they are trying to tell me, see how we're helping you? See how we're portraying you? Isn't this great? You should be happy that Batwoman is Black, shouldn't you? This is, I mean, this is what we think that you like. This is what you are, right? You should be a former drug addict, you know, living in a
Wait.
van with a plant down by the river. You should be happy. We paired you with a drug, with a drug dealer girlfriend. And it's too bad that you weren't smart enough to flush the drugs down the toilet. You put them in your freaking purse. You should be happy that we portray you as a victim every single chance we get. You should be happy with that. No, we're not happy with that, but that's what they think that we should like. And it's personally freaking insulting, which is why I never watched that show again.
I have a question for both of you, and I want to flip it up a bit. What makes you guys happy?
I'll let you go.
What?
I'm going to let the guests go first.
Yeah.
Oh,
ladies first.
God, what makes me happy? I mean, that's an open-ended question. I mean, based on the discussion we've had so far, I would tell you that, what would make me happy is just enjoying a simple movie without being preached to, like going to see something. I mean, in the context of what you're speaking about, Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, that made me happy. It was for the first time in a year, walk back into a movie theater last Wednesday or whatever it was, 2 Wednesdays ago when it came out with my 9-year-old son. He's been dying to see it. He'd been wanting to see it for a year since he first saw the first trailer. He's a huge Godzilla Kong, the newer movies fan. He's going back. He's watched a lot of the older ones. I was happy to, go experience that with my son in a theater we hadn't been to in a year. And it was just a fun movie. And that's what Hollywood, I think, has screwed up, is that they forgot that let's just make fun movies. Let's just give audiences something that they can just sit back and enjoy, and they'll pay for it. Look what happened. I mean, the record box office for, the post-lockdown era. We haven't seen the numbers updated yet since last weekend. So, but my understanding, I did read something on Deadline yesterday that I think there were over 150 or 160 million just now in China alone with that movie. And I think it's just opening in Japan this weekend. So it just goes to show what Hollywood can do if it goes back to its roots and just entertain people. If you just give people entertainment, they'll pay for it. They'll show up.
Wait. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to ask that.
No,
now, that happy part about that is it that you saw the movie or that you shared that moment with your son?
It's that I got to share that with my son, and that we got to watch just something that was just unabashed, simple entertainment. It was just fun.
You just solved Hollywood's problem right there.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm getting at, is that that's what I miss. And in order to do that nowadays, most of the times I've got to turn on something on the TV screen and go back and watch something from 20, 30 years ago to get that, because the stuff that's showing up in the theaters these days, no matter what it is, science fiction, fantasy, they got to inject the politics in it. It makes me sick. It's like, just that's what I enjoy now. That's what makes me happy at this point when, again, in the context of the conversation that we're having. But that's a simple joy. And I keep telling people will vote with their wallets. Just the same thing with Star Wars, the same thing with everything else that they're making. Get that stuff out of it, and people are going to come back to it. I mean, when you're watching your box office grosses go down from the first movie to the second movie to the third movie, and now you can't even sell a bunch of comics and young adult novels, for God's sake. They're bringing back Legends novels, and those are going to outsell the new High Republic stuff like crazy. And why do you think that is? I mean, it's like it's the same thing with Batwoman. It's the same thing. It's just you building this stuff. There you go. They're building this stuff for a tiny little niche audience that they think is actually representative of everyone in the country. And they haven't figured out yet that Twitter hashtags don't pay their flipping bills, but they think they do. Yeah.
Whatsoever.
So.
But I answered. Well, do you have anything else? I don't want to.
No. I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay. So to answer that question, what makes you happy? Well, the thing that makes me happy is looking forward to the Velocicoaster, Jurassic Park coaster at Universal Orlando. And I have to bring that up because there was a time when I would drop a bunch of money at Disney and not think about it. Past couple of years, no. I've been at Universal, and it seems like every time I go, They have stuff that has me saying, shut up and take my money. For the most part, it's like I'll go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and I don't feel insulted and I don't feel preached to. I'm just immersed in something. I was going to get to that in a minute.
Get that cup out of there. Get the cup out of there. I'm done.
The Deathly Hallows. I got my Hogwarts alumni banner back there. And it was just nice to just enjoy something. Just escapism, immersion to the point where when you left the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it was kind of jarring to go back into the regular portion, of the park. But it's just fun. Looking forward to like a roller coaster, which is the worst kept secret Universal had, because they kept building it and not saying we know it's the Velocicoaster. We know what it is. And then they finally announced what it is, and people on Twitter like me are like losing our freaking minds because they finally announced when it was going to be available for people to ride it, June 10th, by the way. Just that collective, people just having fun about it. And it's like, it's been such a long time to be like happy about going to a theme park as opposed to going to a theme park and thinking, which one of the attractions that I love so much is going to get messed up now, is going to get reinterpreted now. Do I have to look into, this is outdated. This is culturally outdated. So, riding Pirates of the Caribbean, and instead of, hearing who wants the redhead, I said me wants the redhead, buy a wench for a bride. We know that scene's outdated, but it's just freaking funny. Just the response to it. So that's gone. So now the redhead is a female pirate nobody's heard of. And if they wanted to be accurate, they would have made it like Anne Bonny, like a real female pirate. They would have done that. And it's like, it's not fun.
No.
Going through that. It's not fun. It's not imaginative.
It's Tortuga. It was a terrible place and they did stuff. I mean, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. But they can't help themselves.
No, they can't, because again, they have a group like the Lucasfilm Story Group. They have an Imagineering doing this stuff, which is why Epcot's getting even more screwed up with all that crap in the lagoon there. Now you can't see all the pretty countries and everything. It's
Oh, I saw the pictures of that. They put that giant
the Stargate and the death tacos that are next to it.
What the hell?
What
the hell were they thinking?
It's not, because they have the guy who in Imagineering now who thinks he's Joe Road's successor, but he's nowhere near it. I mean, Joe Road, he had left-wing politics, but I could respect him as an Imagineer because he didn't bring his politics into Imagineering. He was just does it work? Is it worthy of putting in there? Does it contribute to the story? Is it, a good story? Because somebody asked him on Twitter about putting Wakanda in the animal kingdom. And he was just like, well, let's think about it. Why would we do that? Does it advance the theme of conserving nature? Does it? No. Is there really a place for that? No. Does it expand, the story of the animal kingdom? No, it's impractical. I'm just like, there you go. It's like, it doesn't fit. And this is a guy whose politics I don't agree with, but he's determined to preserve the integrity of Disney Imagineering, not these ones they have now.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's so much the Imagineers, the guys that actually the engineers and the architects. Maybe it is, but I know they've got people sitting over them just telling them, this is what we need you to do.
And
we need you to put this in. And then they're just, the hands are tied. Perfect example was the whole Star Wars Galaxy's Edge
That's exactly
thing.
what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Those guys had everything worked out. Tatooine, Hoth, Endor, all this kind of stuff. And Kathy comes in and says, we don't want to appeal to, the 50-year-olds and up. We have so much more going forward. So throw all this out. I mean, I can't, I don't want to get into it, but the hundreds of millions of dollars, perhaps billions of dollars that she has cost Disney is unfathomable. And that's in addition to all the reshoots and everything they've done in every movie.
Yeah. Because I tell people, I'm like, the Imagineers who worked so hard on the
Mhm.
likes of Star Tours, it's like if you've ever gone through that ride, the amount of detail is crazy. You look like you're on Endor when you're going into the ride. When you go out, you look like you're in Tatooine, and all of that was set up. So it's like, imagine being an Imagineer, especially one who grew up with the original trilogy. And you're like, I'm going to get to create all these worlds. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to make the most icy cantina. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. And then you get somebody, you know, way above you says, you know what? And this was actually in an interview that they did where they told them they were going to have to stop work. And they're just like, what?
Yep.
I have to interrupt. I have to interrupt quickly. Can you play that clip quickly? Because I think you guys need a laugh quickly. You guys are getting like.
Murphy.
Hi.
Hi. Now, sir, why do you think I should choose you to father my baby?
Huh?
No, I'm good because I kind of say that. That is so funny because I love Zila. But I kind of say that to kind of emphasize the point, kind of like Valliant Renegade was saying. You have the people who are the engineers at that level who want to preserve, you know, that type of magic that's made people happy for like the longest time. And some of those Imagineers are ones that got laid off from Disney or they left Disney because a lot of them are leaving and they're going to the likes of Universal. And that's why the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Jurassic Park section is the way that it is.
Can I ask a question related to this though? Do you think that she knows she could have made billions of dollars, but she is trying to just take over Star Wars with her type of Star Wars to the point where she doesn't want George Lucas's name around at all, but is not doing what she planned, and it's turning around and backfiring in such a way that not only is Disney now losing so much money and fans, is that the universe created that was stemmed from George Lucas's creation is no longer a viable escapism to look at this point.
A lot of moving parts of that one. Do I think that she cognizantly decided to forego the money to do? No. I think Kathy, like we were talking about earlier, I think she is one of those typical Hollywood elitist creatures. She believes that this is what most people think. She believes that this is what most people want. And if they just put it out there, everybody will love it. I don't think she went in saying, you know what, this isn't going to sell real well. But we need to push the messaging. No matter how politically charged a company may be, especially one like Disney, at the end of the day, they still have to turn a profit. You still have to answer to the mutual fund guys at Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, American Funds, all these other guys that own 20, 30, 40% of outstanding shares that vote for the people on the board. You still have to answer to these guys. I think they went in, and the story that I've heard over the years is, you know, she went in with, let's remake A New Hope with the first movie, Force Awakens, which is what they did, got everybody in the door. And then let Rian Johnson just go hog wild and do whatever he wants. And that was basically to, you know, as they said in the movie, kill the past, you know, and that's, I think Kathy believed that people, I think she got satisfaction from, of course, everybody that she lives with in Hollywood. They all loved it, right? The critics, oh, The Last Jedi was spectacular. It was such a wonderful blah, blah, blah. And why? Because it was woke politics. It was, you know, Mary Sue kicks the crap out of Jedi white male master. So that's what they loved about it. The rest of the country, the rest of the Star Wars fandom did not. And the box offices, look how badly they punished Solo. Look how badly they punished the rise of Palpatine. Yeah. And none of the merchandise sold.
No, if you look at it, actually, Force Awakens made a certain amount. When Jedi came out, it lost 60% of what the previous movie made. When it finally got to Rise of Skywalker, it lost another 60% of what Jedi made. So let's put it at like 120% was lost from the first film of Force Awakens because of how bad the movies were going.
And the perspective I give people, if you look at, you know, and it's kind of funny listening to it during the annual shareholder meeting with Disney when they were talking about the movies. Yeah. And this was back in 2019 or 2020. I guess 2020. It was right after Rise of Skywalker came out. And they said, yeah, and it did over $1 billion. I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, in the same year that Avengers Endgame came out and busted $2.8 billion. And you're telling me that the culmination of 40 years of the biggest intellectual property, Star Wars, in history, barely scraped over $1 billion, and this is a success to you? I was like, y'all know damn well that was a bomb fail, because by the time they did all the reshoots on it, they probably spent $500 million in production.
Yep.
From what I heard. So it's like if they made $1 billion at the box office, they barely broke even on the production. And they couldn't sell toys from it, or they sold very few. What have they all gone back to? Go into Galaxy's Edge now and see what they're selling. There's not much sequel trilogy stuff there. It's all Grogu, Mando.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was telling people the video that I had where I went to Disney Springs, and I said, okay, I'm going to go to World of Disney. We're going to go over here and go in the Star Wars section.
Mm-hmm.
No sequel trilogy stuff. I think there was maybe, I'll take that back. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 things that was sequel
like a
trilogy.
Kylo lightsaber.
Pretty much
maybe.
like that. Yeah. But you look at the people walking around grabbing stuff, Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, all of that. No sequel trilogy at all on the signage and, on the displays. It's all Baby Yoda stuff, Mandalorian stuff, Dark Saber. Then you have original trilogy stuff. Like, I forget which one I was filming, and Fat Steve was like, you need to send that to me. It was like a Darth Vader.
You still didn't send it to me.
I know I didn't. I didn't. Shame on me. No, not really.
Nobody loves me.
Freaking $100. But they had like the original trilogy stuff. So between the original trilogy stuff and Mandalorian, they can't keep that stuff on the shelves. That's what sells. No one buys the sequel trilogy stuff. Galaxy's Edge is pretty much like a boring strip mall with a dive bar, and people just kind of go through that just to get to Toy Story Land.
Adding to that, when they had the sporks and people were taking them home and selling them on eBay, Disney got wind of that. You know what they did? They removed all the sporks and packaged them singly and charged people $11 or $12 for a single spork.
Yeah, they're back now. Yeah.
What the spork? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's true. When you would go, right, they were free, right? But people would take them home with them, right? Weren't supposed to.
Just a regular spork.
Yeah, regular spork that was
but
like
nice.
They
had like they had, they kind of like were differently made just for Galaxy's Edge. So it's kind of like taking the silverware that you'd get at a restaurant. It's like, I'm going to take this home with me. So that's pretty much what happened. They just created a special, spork design.
Were they plastic, like disposable, or what?
No,
they were like metal, like pewter or something.
Okay.
I don't know what it was, but people were taking them home. They were popping up on eBay, and let's give it like maybe a month, maybe 2 months. I'm trying to stretch it out. Disney removed them and put them into single packaging, and you now had to pay for one if you wanted one to eat in the restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they.
Sporks.
Yeah, sporks. Yeah. So it was just like, no, why
Spork wars.
Bother? Now, granted, some people like going to Galaxy's Edge. I'm not gonna, fault you for that. But at the same time, don't get upset when something that should have been released on the level of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter landed with a thud, because you didn't honor the original lore that it came from. It's kind of like, doing the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but doing like a woke version.
Yeah, well, part of that at the time, Kathy Kennedy, like I said, a Hollywood creature of many decades, and so they listened to her. They listened to her, and they look. Lucas trusted her. You think? I mean, every day George has got to be regretting that decision.
He did. Iger did. He trusted Kathy. Kennedy to know what she was doing. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, Force Awakens, that came out pretty good, but from what I understand from the videos that Midnight's Edge did on it, check it out. Definitely, they're amazing. Where they're talking about, since Force Awakens pretty much did okay, and it had a lot of supervision from Iger. Iger's like, okay, you know what you're doing. I'll kind of let that go. And then that supervisory spot went away. So she was pretty much be able to go run rampant and do whatever she wanted, because he didn't have any reason to not trust her decision. Based on, The Force Awakens, it didn't do horrible. I thought it was, it was okay, but it wasn't like Last Jedi. I just want to freaking puke it up. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I think, and I think the difference now is that, at least hopefully, I mean, in any sensible world, Kathy has burnt a lot of her capital in that regard. I don't think, obviously, they don't have the same level of faith. They should not have the same level of faith. You look at everything she has touched since then, and it's consistently going further and further downhill. Like I said before, to now, she can't even sell books and comics, for God's sake. I mean, she cannot. It's just what is she touching? What is she really in charge of that is producing, the kind of revenues that they want? Nothing. The most successful pieces, and I mean, Disney knows this. I mean, Kathy Kennedy's name will be as executive producer on everything because she's a studio head. That's how it works. But they know that Favreau is the one, Filoni is the one steering the ship right now, at least the part of the ship that's actually bringing in money.
Yeah.
Bringing in merchandising, bringing in sales for Disney Plus and everything like that. So,
someone's dog on fire?
It's probably mine.
Or is it time to eat or time to go out?
No, I think they probably heard somebody at the front door. That's what that is.
Yeah. They get all excited and everything. It's like, somebody's here. Oh, well, this has been an amazing interview. But before I forget, where did you get your coffee mug from?
Oh, that was from the Wizarding World.
You beat up a 12-year-old for it.
Yeah. That was from the Wizarding World at Universal.
Yeah, I'm being facetious, but yeah. So, how was your experience there? Because everybody hears me talk about when I went. I want to hear from somebody else who went.
I loved it. I'm like you. I was like, I could care less about Disney, especially now. I was never a big Disney fan. I mean, even as a kid growing up, I was a Warner Brothers kid. I mean, I love the Looney Tunes. I'd much rather my dad take me to Astro World when Astro World was still there in Houston, because you'd go in, they'd have all the Warner Brothers characters and everything like that, and they had real rides. I don't particularly care for the rides at Disney. I'm a big roller coaster nut. I want, give me something good. So I enjoy going to Universal. And I tell you right now, I mean, if I ever go back to Orlando again, I'll go there. I'm skipping Disney because there's just no point. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet. I don't care about it. If they ever decide to put it back the way it was supposed to be in the beginning, I'll think about coming back. But until that point, it can go take a flying leap. I just don't care. But Universal, it's everything you said about Universal. The Wizarding World is dead on. I mean, when you walk in there, you're completely immersed. Everything Diagon Alley, and then they have Hogsmeade on the other side now. My wife is a huge Harry Potter fan. We've probably been there. She's been there more than I have, but I've probably been there at least 3 or 4 times. She's probably been there 5 or 6. And it's so enjoyable. And I can spend the whole day in there and just have a great time. And I can go back 2 or 3 days in a row and just not get bored. It's just, it's a lot of fun. We probably got to have around a dozen different wands from Ollivanders in this house.
Oh,
at least.
Man.
Yeah, because remember, I got
Death Mask.
I did not.
I still owed one. Wink,
well,
wink, nudge,
it was
nudge.
sold out.
I know. I'm just gonna keep doing it because I don't forget.
The one thing, if I ever go back, because I almost pulled the trigger on it last time, and I was like, I should have gotten it because it was just too cool. I wanted to get Lucius Malfoy's cane in
Yes! Oh my god!
And
I wanted that so bad.
It's like $150. Am I really going to spend $150? And I'm like, and now I'm like, I should have done it. I want, because it was so cool. It's like, where am I ever going to go around with this stupid thing? But it's just to have it in the house on the wall or something like that. But I saw that and I said, oh man, there's stuff in Borgin and Burke's. It's like, I love going in there, but I need to not go in there because I will spend some freaking money in that place if I stay in there too long. Because they've just so many cool different little art. But that's what Disney doesn't have. They don't have that.
That. Let's see if I have it. I have like the little book that they gave you, because I have the wand. I was gonna get. Can't believe they don't freaking have it in here. Because I bought the time turner because I had to get that.
Oh, I have one sitting over there. Yeah,
I had
on the
that because I was like, I have to get the time turner, so I got that, and I got the collector's wand because I almost got Narcissa Malfoy's wand, but instead I went for the collector wand, interactive one, collector wand. So I got that. But Lucius Malfoy's cane, man, I keep like staring at it. through the glass, just
Mhm.
because the top of it just looks so cool with the
Yeah, and it
snake
pulls
and the
out, the
snake
wand is in there
eyes,
and
and then
everything. Yeah,
there. Eventually, I'll break down and freaking buy that. But just the
that'll probably
replicas
happen the
are
next time I
so
go.
cool. Everything from like the Horcrux necklace
Yep.
to the Death Eater mask that they cannot keep in stock
Yep.
at all. They can't
No.
keep them in stock. And with the interactive wands where you can go around to different places around Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, which are actually adding more, where you step
Yep.
on this like marker and you use the wand in a certain pattern and you have this cool interactive thing that happens.
Mhm.
And it's amazing. And if you can't do it right, then they have, other wizards walking around, wizards and witches, to help you out. I think sometimes they have a button that'll make it work too, but just
Mhm.
how fun it is with people doing that.
Two
It's
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say 2 of my favorite pictures that I ever, shot while on vacation, um, was from the Wizarding World. The first was it was the year, it was probably not, but a couple of months after they added all the, interactivity
Mhm.
with the wands. 'Cause the first couple times, my wife and I went with the kids, they didn't have any of that yet. So when you bought the wand, it was a wand. There was
Yeah.
no, there was no LED in it. There was nothing, RF. There was no communication with it. It was just a piece of plastic.
Mhm.
Um, then I think the second or third time we went back, they had put that in. So I have a picture somewhere of my son. The first time he's using it, it was one with the umbrella that sprays out the water. I think it was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Right there in the alleyway by the little bar that served like the fire whiskey and everything else.
Mhm.
But he was, I had a great picture of that. And the other one was, I think it was from when it was a shot when I got picked in Ollivanders to do the wand thing in there.
Mhm.
And I managed to crack a shot off of the guy that was playing the role of Ollivander. And he was just so, some of them, they don't look the part. This guy was perfect. He was an older guy.
Yeah.
And he looked perfect. And I managed to crack the shot off in there. I'll have to send it to you. But those are 2 of my favorite. And like I said, I have so much more fun going there than anything Disney has to offer me right now, which is a shame. But, c'est la vie.
Yeah, it is. But it's like, you know what? Go woke, go broke. Because
Yep.
Universal, they are hitting capacity every freaking day, almost, from people.
I believe it.
People who just want to go.
Hmm.
They never once had to say fade in or fade out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on that note, folks, I should have had this actually ready when I started. Please do subscribe to Valliant Renegade. And we have his YouTube link, and we also have his Twitter in the description box of the video. So, Val, you want to tell us anything you have coming up that folks should be aware of?
I kind of take it day to day, just when I have time, and that's always my problem. Is I never know when I'm going to have time to actually cut videos.
Mhm.
But one of the things I will probably really try to get to this weekend if I can, especially once the fresh numbers come out, was doing a video talking about Hollywood's decision to do this day and date release of theater and streaming service, which I think is a bad idea for them. And Kong, or Godzilla versus Kong, just kind of bore that out.
Oh, yeah.
It is that the amount of revenue they're leaving on the table, even if they just were to do a 30-day window or a 45-day window before dropping it on streaming, I really feel like, they felt as if just people didn't want to go back to the theaters, and then they actually put out a really good movie that everybody wanted to go see, a big action movie, and it's like, oh, okay, never mind. So it's, I'm hoping at some point Warner Brothers is going to pull the reins back. I don't know if it's too late or not to do it with Mortal Kombat, because that comes out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much, yeah. That's
I have
HBO
HBO Max. I have HBO Max, and I said, no, we're not watching Godzilla versus Kong on HBO. We're going to go to the theater first and see it, because I want to get them back on their feet. And we do the same thing with Mortal Kombat. I could turn it on that night at midnight as soon as it drops, but I'm just like, nope, I want to go see Mortal Kombat in the theater.
Yeah, I
So
tried to
same
see
thing.
I tried to see Godzilla versus Kong on opening night and couldn't get in for like 2 days. Everything was sold out. So I wanted to see the movie, so I watched it on HBO Max, but I wanted to see it in the theater. So thankfully for Mortal Kombat, I'm going to try to get ahead of the curve so I can go see it in the theaters first, because it's nothing like being able to be in the theater with that big of a screen. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. And a lot of people want to get back to it. I mean, I can't wait. I got to go check again this weekend because last time I looked, the advanced ticket sales hadn't gone on yet for Mortal Kombat. I'm hoping that lands.
Yeah,
should be landing this weekend or this week. And I've got a movie tavern here where I'm at, which is nice because you pick your seats.
Oh yeah,
recliners, and they serve you dinner, and it's kind of fun.
Before we do close out, I want to ask a quick question related to Mortal Kombat. Do you think the sacrifice of Johnny Cage is still okay because they put a lot into the whole movie itself, especially with fighting scenes, the costume, the set design? Do you think that they're having no Johnny Cage is worth what they might be giving us, or do you think that it's going to hinder it in a way?
I think there's going to be some people that were kind of disgusted with the decision, especially when they came out and said why. Yeah, it's like, well, we can't have a white male lead, and I'm like, was Johnny Cage ever really the lead?
No,
I mean, to me, it was always Liu Kang. It was like
it was.
How was
it was Liu Kang. It was a whole team. The Mortal Kombat was assembling Earth's greatest fighters. It had nothing to do with a single lead. Yes. And they seem to have. That's the point. I get why people are pissed. But if you can look beyond that, and you've seen how much more energy they put in the other things besides the agenda stuff, do you think that's a good sacrifice in the end?
I mean, if that's what we have to put up to get this movie, I mean, fine. I don't care. I just want to go see it. It looks fun. Yeah, it looks like it's extremely well done. I've ignored the whole. Okay, they said they didn't put Johnny in because he was a white male. Whatever. I'm just at this point. It's so commonplace that I guess it just kind of goes right over my head, and I'm like, well, we have to expect something like that.
It's one of those things where. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's one of those things where when I reviewed the trailer when it first came out, one question I kept asking, I was like, "Where's Johnny Cage?" I mean, Johnny Cage was a complete a-hole, but that's who kind of we expected to at least, show up. Because the first guy, I'm like, oh, did they race swap Johnny Cage or something? And it just turns out there's some new character that they're going to use. So it's aggravating that Johnny Cage isn't going to be in it. He wasn't the most prominent fighter. He was kind of just known by name. He was kind of in that group. I'm like, I say not as prominent as like Sonya Blade, or not as prominent as like saying Sub-Zero and Scorpion, but we kind of at least wanted to know about him. So he might be mentioned in the movie. I don't know. If the movie turns out to be as good as the trailer looks, I can kind of forgive him for not showing Johnny Cage, but at the same time, they didn't have to freaking say that they didn't want to include Johnny Cage because he was white. They could have just pretty much said, we didn't come up with a good enough story to put him in. And I think people would have forgiven that kind of statement. Like, okay, you don't want to do it half-ass.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting after that came out, and he got flack for it. Like he almost immediately started backpedaling, saying, "Oh, well, we wanted to save him for the second movie." So it's like, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, was the problem with him being white and a lead or not? What does it matter what movie he's in, and how do you know there's going to be a second movie?
Exactly.
I mean, you don't know. I hope there is, but you never know the success of a movie, the box office. They're not going to greenlight. So I thought it was all just a bunch of crap. He was trying to dig himself out of a hole.
Yeah.
So
that you went and walked in.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Valley, for joining us. This has been an amazing conversation. So glad you could have you on.
He's okay.
Yeah. Fat Steven and I back and forth again.
I still like you.
I appreciate you having me. I know, and I respect you as well. You're always hilarious with your bit, even when you're just chatting, it's funny. But no, guys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. It's been an honor. It's been so nice to meet you face to face, at least as face to face as this is, Lorena. Love the Toxic Femme show. You guys do such great work, and it's so refreshing. And
thank you.
For all the reasons that they started that was, we need to have more of the girls in here talking about this too. It's not just white guys.
No,
we know that. So.
Well, good.
Anyway, thank you guys.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome, folks. Again, please do subscribe to Valliant Renegade. We have his links in the description box. Subscribe to Fat Steven Seagal and also subscribe to myself here. And even if you are subscribed, go back and double check to make sure that you are subscribed because YouTube's been unsubscribing people. Yes, I know about 60 more subs and I got to make good on that.
And I need
That
230.
I need 270.
So I need 270 for monetization. Yes.
You're getting real close, Fat Steven. I know
They keep taking away from me. Yeah, they keep taking away from me. I can't get past 730.
Happens to me too. I see it even with my small channel. I see one or two or three disappear a couple times a week. But yeah, you've been growing quick. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's been going.
I mastered the grift. I'm very good at grifting. I try my best to grift so much off other people. It's just a form of art to me now.
If it works, it works, man.
Give me money. Give me money. Give me money.
There you go.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us and for watching. We sure do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.
Take care.
By the way, Valliant still owes me reparations for all the super chats he superimposed to me to reply. I think $50.